Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Coach Mo Live. This is a special edition because every single week in our coaching workshop, I hear about the double whammy of Black women in their professional pursuits, jiving with where they want to be in their career, and then getting derailed by the hierarchy, getting derailed by expectations, getting derailed by, we're just going to say it, racism. And I want to have the opportunity for Dr. Katisha and Jajuana to give voice to their journey and what's possible. And also really giving strong, loud voice to the challenges. So please stay tuned in. These two women are amazing. I've really had the privilege and the pleasure of working with both of them. And I want to give voice to these ladies. And of course, there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, probably even millions of women who have shared journeys because of where we're still not where we want to be with Black women, with racism in this country. So we're giving voice. It's Black History Month. And I really want to share these ladies with as many people as possible. You ladies are both awesome. Dr. Katisha, hit us off and welcome and thank you for coming today to share your insights as a Black woman in America and a working professional, high-level woman. Please welcome.
Thank you, Coach Mo. Thank you so much for having me. And Jajuana, it's great to see you. Thank you.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about you, about yourself.
So I am Dr. Katisha Robinson-Smith. I am an administrator. I'm a thought leader. I am a ministry leader in church, and I am a single parent of three sons.
Yes. And your sons are doing marvelous things in the world as well. We might not have time to cover that, but I wanted just to recognize that not only a single mother, but a great mother. Jajuana Patrick, welcome to this interview and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for that, Coach Mo. And I'm pleased to be here with you, Dr. Katisha. I'm Jajuana Patrick, a talent management executive with over 23 years of experience. I am a wife. I am a mother of two, a 6-year-old boy, and Jalen, and a 8-year-old daughter, Christia. And I'm thrilled to be here today.
Yeah, awesome. I met both of you ladies when you were in a career crisis and needing to find your way in a more powerful way. And the program that I have, 12 weeks, follow week by week this process. You bring your soul alive, you get the strategies, the resume, the LinkedIn, prepped on interviews, all of that. Now, the interesting thing is everyone has a different journey through that 12 weeks. Katisha, where were you at the beginning of that journey? And, we know that the journey's not over. Where were you at the beginning of the journey, and what did you learn about yourself? And tell us a little bit about the sort of the gears that you found under the surface there.
So in the beginning of my journey, we were still in the pandemic. I was navigating being an administrator at an organization, having the largest department on campus, being on campus 4 days out of the week with the team that was working primarily remotely. And for me, doing, school online, Zoom school with my sons at that time that were in middle school. One was just finishing high school. And I was also doing ministry online. And so, I felt that there was something missing and that I needed more. I was pouring myself out into my sons, into my job, into really serving in ministry. And, in the pandemic, we were isolated, even though I was going physically to work 4 days and working remotely 1. I knew that I needed more and that I needed to really do something about what was happening internally with me.
Yes. You were overworking and getting another helping on the plate of even being overworked, as I recall.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll talk about to the level that you're comfortable talking about that, but that does deplete one, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And when you're trying to get ahead, saying no just doesn't seem to be the thing to do.
No, it doesn't, especially if you are a people pleaser.
Yes. Yes.
And,
Yes.
and so, your program really taught me what to say no to and how to have balance and boundaries.
Yes. Yes. So good. I'm delighted to hear more and to really give voice to a lot of things that are important to you today. Jajuana Patrick, welcome to a new expression or a bolder expression. What was going on with you when you were starting the journey with us and realizing that something wasn't quite going the right way?
Yeah, great question. So I was 4 years into a role where I was thriving, excelling, being told I was talent to watch and high potential with a huge runway in the organization, male dominated company as well. And I learned how to navigate the company really well, although at the time we had our third president in 3 years. Tough, right? So lots of change and not really getting the momentum that you need. And so with that, there was lots of promotional conversations. I had C-level leaders flying to St. Louis to have conversations with me about what those next opportunities look like. And at times I was promised 3 roles within the organization. And I just kept plugging away, doing the great job that I did, helping the organization. And then I got to a point where now I was excited about the promotion. So I started asking more questions. And with our third president had just entered, been there maybe 3 months, I was told that, he needed to review all talent before making those decisions. And the promotion at some point would still be on the table. Fast forward to a month later, and we were pausing on promotions. And fast forward to a month later, I start seeing a lot of my male counterparts get promoted. And then I started to be removed from the strategic table, still with the load, the level of excellent delivery and execution of service that I provided to the organization. And so I definitely was in a career shamble.
Yeah. And, doesn't it seem like in that type of situation, like there's nothing to do? Like, what are you going to do?
There was nothing to do. I didn't even know what to say anymore. I was asking the right questions.
Right.
My team was still excelling. We were still being talked about every town hall, every single meeting. Our impact was felt wide and through the organization. So what do you do?
Right. And it's natural and normal to internalize all of that.
Yes.
I must be wrong. It must be something I'm not doing. It must be because I'm a Black woman. It must be because I said something the wrong way to someone and therefore I'm being excluded. All of that could be true. Okay. It could all be true. The only thing you can do anything about is what you're doing with it. What did you learn differently about how to marshal yourself in a new way as we work together?
I learned me, honestly. I think that was so important. The work that we did was healing from a soul level. And I love that that's how the program is built. It is built to look at the soul, to really look at what your natural gifts and talents are and other elements. And then how do we align to that and kind of back into that? And then there's a lot of work internally that you need to do to kind of unweave some of that thought process that you just went through. It was because I was a Black woman. It's because of this, it's because of that. And then the other thing I learned was speaking from my power. There were times when, because I learned how to navigate this company so well, there were times when I did not speak from my power because I knew when to stay in my place, when not to stay in my place, right? And this program taught me strategies to overcome that and to plan out conversations and come at them with like impact and value and statistics first, and then we can start having, deeper conversations. And so for me, it was learning myself, learning what I really wanted and getting laser focused on that, but also leaning into believing in me again. I think I stopped believing in me
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was easy to do that because it looked like the evidence was they didn't believe in you. So
Mhm.
you must be wrong to even think that you could do something, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I know that drill because that's been, part of my career experience, and
Mhm.
able to solve for it has to be an internal job. You have to create
Yes.
that power within you and begin to believe in you so that you can exert yourself in the right way.
Mhm.
Dr. Katisha, your journey was somewhat different, coming through, basically trying to have less on your plate, draw some boundaries on that stuff.
Yes.
What did you learn most importantly about navigating an almost unbelievable family and workload?
What I learned is that it was okay to ask for help. It was okay to reach out and say, um, this is not going the way it should be.
Yeah.
And, I need help from
Yes.
management. I need, assistance with different things. And
Mhm.
I think for me, I felt as a Black woman that I wasn't supposed to ask for help, and that if
Yeah.
I did, it
Yeah.
would, be
Yeah.
received as a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
What I learned in this program is that it's okay to ask for what you need.
Mhm.
It's okay to reach out for
Mhm.
support. It's okay to speak up in your power
Yeah.
and really communicate things to
Mhm.
improve the work environment, the experience,
Mhm.
just things on several levels. And so
Yes.
it made a world of difference for
Yeah.
me in
Yeah.
my role.
Yeah. And as you're navigating what you need, you can't help but to come from the context of what you've been told you have to be a Black woman in the world, right? So
Yes.
that like keeps you in a box, and no one's giving you permission to ask for what you need because you're supposed to be figuring it out on your own. Moving away from that might be complicated because it's also the identity of being a Black woman.
Mhm.
So if you're moving away from the box that you were told to stay in and you're starting to exert your power, did you happen to notice that not everyone was on board with that?
Absolutely. When you start to rock the boat, um, it doesn't always go over well.
Yes. Yes. And so handling that is a whole nother kettle of fish, so to speak, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. And you have to be in your power, like continually be in your power and be in your truth and be aligned with what's right and true from your vantage point. And let's put the cards on the table here and let's crack this conversation open. You have the credentials to play at a higher level in your profession. You had the track record. I think you won an award for your contribution in the organization.
Yes.
Was it when you were in the 12-week workshop or right after that?
It was during the 12-week workshop.
I thought so. And here you are exerting yourself with every permission
Mhm.
in the world to be able to exert yourself. And the world kept pushing on you with a racist expectation. Is that right?
Yes.
So how do you keep going on that?
You really have to do the work internally. In this program, you teach us about the 10-10-10, and I think that is so effective in starting your day off
Yeah.
with gratitude. For me, it's scripture, it's
Mhm.
reading the Bible, positive affirmations, listening to uplifting music, praying.
Yeah.
Really. Focusing on the wholeness, the well-being, exercising, drinking water, all the
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
you talk to us about
Yeah.
to not just improve ourselves, but how we feel about ourselves
Mhm.
and how we show up in the world and in the workplace.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want to hire you just because of who you are and how you are in the world. I mean, seriously. So, to me, getting into your full power and being able to express yourself and be yourself and not have to have, a, a 20-person chorus in your head saying you're not allowed, you can't, who do you think you are? Why are you pushing so hard? All of that. Have those voices sort of calmed down a bit for you?
Absolutely. They definitely have. As a result of going through your program and really, I want to say getting my confidence back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having the ability to speak with boldness and confidence and not be afraid, really this program helped me do that. And it's made the world of difference for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Jajuana, you landed a job.
I did.
You moved out of the organization that was sort of keeping you outside and not moving you forward. And I know that felt awesome and great. And what else did you learn in that leap into that new frontier?
So I got promoted before I left.
Right. I remember that now. Yes.
I got promoted before I left, and I actually had close to 3 offers. One was still in the works at the time that I decided to leave the organization. But what I learned before I left the organization is that stop letting everything break and shake me. And that is one of the downfalls that I was going through. I was letting it all break me. And so it was going to start impacting my home. I've seen it before at a previous organization. And it's serendipity, because that's when I saw your Instagram ad. And then I booked my clarity call and got a call from Coach Miliana. And some of those questions that she asked me, they were open-ended and so thought-provoking. I mean, and they just shook me to my knees. Because I really was letting things really just shake me in every single way. And I was putting on a happy face. I am a happy warrior all the time. There were people who really knew me, who knew that something was off, because I was kind of being an imposter, But I've learned that it's all temporary, right? The challenge is temporary. I've come on the other side of greatness multiple times, from darkness to greatness. And so even when I am faced with a challenging situation today, it's not shaking me, it's not breaking me, because I know that the best is yet to come. Right.
Right. Rock on. And when you feel solid in yourself, and it's funny just even using the word solid, because we know it's, like energetically you get locked into who you are and how you are and what's your truth. It's not tangible, but it alters everything. It alters how you show up at your home as a mom, with your husband, every interview, every interaction, meeting, everything, and not moving into self-judgment or second guessing. Has that freed up some energy for you?
Oh, 100%. And when I think about you saying in every interview and with my spouse, like all of that really was playing a part. And when it really actually started shifting really quickly to a more positive impact, maybe 2 to 3 weeks while I was in the program. I started really doing a lot of internal work. And prior to the program, I had about 7 opportunities at my fingertips. I was interviewing and I didn't move forward in any of them. And that's when I said, I've got to be doing something wrong. Something is off. And that when you say solid, I equate that to freedom. I feel free and at peace. I feel free to make choices. I feel free not to make a choice. Like I am so free after coming through this program, more freer than I've ever been in my entire life.
Because you're comfortable, and I'm going to say it this way. It's ironic that I'm going to say this, but in your own skin.
100%. Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
that's part of the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're comfortable in your own skin, no matter what color it is, no matter what you look like,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you're a woman of many hairstyles, no matter what your hairstyle is that day. Okay?
Many hairstyles.
That's right. When you're comfortable from within, like you're bringing in your divine source energy as your truth, and that you are a unique expression in the world, and you got this, like whatever this happens to be. And I've seen pictures of your beautiful little kids, and the mama that you are, and that's like just such a precious thing for their mama to be comfortable in her own skin, because that means you're showing your kids something different.
Absolutely. And they're watching. I mean, they are watching to the point that, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do my workouts. They are like, Mommy, wake me up. But they also knew something was off because I wasn't giving them the grace that at the time kids their age really needed. Right. And this was last year. And so, yelling at them in the morning when we're late, but knowing that at the crux of all of that is that I wasn't comfortable in my own skin.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You can't hide that from the people you live with.
No.
I mean, you can sort of hide it with coworkers, not really even there, but when your home environment, you just can't be hiding that stuff. Dr. Katisha, you are the mother of 3 awesome sons, and they're at a fragile point in what's going on in America. Black young men are having a rough road with all the geopolitical environment about Black men. How do you handle that as a mom, helping them navigate a tricky world? Let's just be honest, it's tricky out there for them.
It is, and I will be honest with you. I pray a lot over them and their friends and the influences, and then I have open dialogue with them, communication, and they don't always like it. I've got a 20-year-old son who is in the Marines. I've got a 15-and-a-half-year-old son who's in the 10th grade in high school, and I've got a 14-year-old son who's in the 8th grade, and we're in this high school of choice process. And so I really try to talk with them about things that we're seeing on the news, things that they're experiencing with drugs and, with social media and sex and just all these influences that I didn't have when I was growing up. And so really, this program helped me have that dialogue with them. When I was growing up, nobody talked to me about stuff. It was just like an experience, and then I got in trouble after the fact if I did something wrong. And so now, what I do, and they're like, Mom, can you not talk to me about this? And I talk with their father, about stuff. We're divorced, and there's the open communication where I'll call and say, hey, this is da 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 da. I need you, because when I talk to them about that, they're like, Mom. But it's different when they hear it from dad or from the male perspective or from a coach. So, what I've learned in this program is communication. It's okay to communicate. You have to have difficult conversations.
Yes.
And so this program really helped me with navigating that.
Yes. Yes. And I know you've had some difficult conversations as well with the leadership of the organization you were with.
Yes.
And the navigation that you're doing right now has to be different than what it would have been. Talk a little bit about that experience, please. And then I want to make the statement I told you I was going to make in this call.
This program really helped me with navigating difficult relationships, learning to manage up, and really navigating the relationship with your boss and, with your colleagues and your peers and your staff. And I really love that this program helped me do that. Before I've gone through things, but I've never really been taught how to communicate at a level to get your point across, standing in your power, not coming across as being angry, but really as coming across with getting, your point across so that people understand the validity of the statements that you're making.
Right. And again, not feeling like you have to apologize as it's coming out of your mouth.
Absolutely.
Right. And I know that's a big challenge for Black women, that it's like, am I allowed to say this? Am I going to be pissing you off? Am I now going to be the angry Black woman? I'm now going to be the Black woman who can't do something. I mean, so getting all the supposed to's in check and being able to be fully in your power. I know that there's been some places that you weren't invited into and some conversations that you weren't able to be a part of. This is, of course, the primary reason why Black women are not advancing in their professional pursuits, because as the leanin.org and McKinsey research that comes out every year, they continually find that the biggest reason why Black women are not advancing is because they're not invited into the meetings, the next place. They're not having access to learning what the next power level looks like, being even a witness of those conversations, and being sort of welcomed forward. So pushing yourself in only goes so far. So I want to say, before I'm going to pass it over to Jajuana for a split second, but I want to say to anyone listening to this, if you are a leader, if you are in an organization and you have the opportunity to influence decisions and influence what goes on, I want you to absolutely invite Black women into conversations, committees, strategies, so that the participation of what you're doing in your organization includes Black women's voices. I want you also, if you're a leader, to make sure that you are adding to your leadership, to your professional people in your organization, more Black women. I like I think it was Ruth Bader Ginsburg who was once asked how many women should be on the Supreme Court, and she said 9. So the bottom line is, one of the things that I sort of don't like about the diversity, equity, and inclusion movement is that it sort of is positioned in a limited basis. Like, there's not a limit for who we include or how we include extra voices. There's not a quota. There is, keep adding more. Yes. And so if you're a leader, just keep adding more. There's no look around the table, is there enough? Keep adding more, keep adding more, keep adding more. I just met with a friend of mine who's, I've known him 20 years, and he's in a big organization. And he said, I can't even influence the fact that we're all white men. He said, I want to bring in a diverse leader. So hear me out, people. If you're watching this, cut the shit and begin inviting forward not only the voice and the participation, but the leadership and and having more color on your organizational charts. Like, just get it done. Get it done. There's so many talented women who I personally know, these two ladies in particular, of course, who are ready to step up to that next level. Open your doors. Open your doors. Jajuana, you're in talent, you're in recruiting, leadership development. What say you?
Well, first, I like to applaud you for advocating for us in that way. That is huge, to hear a white woman say, bring Black women along. So thank you for being an advocate of us.
Thank you. Absolutely.
But keep adding more, I think, is a great statement for the year. And for me, I don't want it to be the token female Black employee. I will tell you, there's times when I felt that it was that way for me. And I said, you know what? That's okay, because when I get in there, I'm going to wow them and I'm going to show them and I'm going to change their minds, which 10 times out of 10 I did. Absolutely.
Sure.
But to your point, if we are not invited and there is not equitable access for us, then the only thing we can do is push our way. And then we know there's a door that stops us 100%.
Yep.
I had a leader at the organization that I talked about when I was in this organization, when I was in this program. He was amazing, especially in the beginning. He saw my skill set. He also saw the magic of being this powerful Black woman and strategies that I can execute. And he brought me along every step of the way. The reason I was at that table and was able to navigate the men's world was because of him. And I owe a lot to him, and I've had that conversation with him.
Yeah.
But his power got diminished with our third president. And so he could no longer bring me along. We still talk today. He was my direct leader and is still an amazing contact. The other thing I would say is to put an exclamation on this is I was in charge of our national sales conference of developing that and creating what that content looked like for the year.
Yeah.
So we bring in 300 sales leaders and have this huge 4-day event. And I went to a TED Talk in St. Louis and saw Maxine Clark, who was the founder of Build-A-Bear, and has had many executive roles within her career.
Yes.
And I said, she is going to speak to us and be our keynote speaker. She is a female, and we hadn't had that before. And her message resonates from bears to insurance, right? We had our meeting with her, and it was green lighted to get her. And I wrote down in my journal, because I was working with Coach Miliana, that I was going to work with Maxine Clark in some way, shape, or form.
Nice.
And so I was in charge of, managing her through the process as well, and just being my authentic self. And I sent her, we took a picture at the National Sales Conference, and she asked me to email it to her. And I said, ooh, this is fabulous. This is my time. And so I did. And her response back was, thank you. Are you ready to join your first nonprofit board? And I said, oh my goodness. And it is my actual first board. And I am sitting in a room with this powerhouse, a multimillionaire, who is amazing at how she interacts with leaders, how she comes up with decisions, and how just sharp she is and witted. And I am working with her as a board member. And so, but she brought me along. I did my part, but she also brought me into the room.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And showing up not only with a desire on your heart, but being intentional and allowing yourself to have that vision for you. Like, I'm worthy enough of believing that is possible for me. So I'm writing it down. I'm putting it out there. I'm going to act as if I'm going to do what it takes to move into that, because I'm not going to deny myself. Again, as we talk about negotiations, we always say, don't negotiate against yourself before you even get in the room. Same thing with a desire or an ambition. Like, keep going with what you want. Like, no one denies you without your permission. Like, you just keep going. So bravo. I did not know that story, and I am thrilled and tickled inside to hear that. That is fantastic.
Can I add one more thing about this conversation? I have lived my life by saying excellence as a Black woman, like exuding that excellence in every single thing that I do would be a deterrent on sexism and racism. And in some ways it is, but in some ways it's not.
Right.
And so there's times when I just completely, I strive for excellence all the time, and you keep your head down and you do the work. But unless you get that access and have that sponsorship, then we aren't getting as far as we need to be.
Yeah. Right. And I want to go ahead, Dr. Katisha. It looks like you want to say something. I want to let you.
No, I wanted to agree that is so true. The access is key.
Yes.
Giving us access to even be in the room at the table to have a voice. That's all I was going to add.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. I want to stack on this in a way that perfectionism and performance is a deterrent in moving forward. And I think one of the things that, and I know, Dr. Katisha, you have a doctoral degree. Most of the Black women I've worked with are way, way overeducated for where they are. I'm not saying that that's the problem, but it is not the only gear that is necessary. Performance is about, I don't know, 50% of the equation. Credentials might even be like 10% of the equation. Communicating, somewhat of the equation. But you all know this to be true. The real thing that changes is you believing that you belong there. And that's the story you just told, Jajuana, about working with Maxine Clark. Like, you felt in your heart, I belong there. I belong working with her. I belong there. And as much as the whole entire world is pressing against you to not have you believe that, you got to have a big enough heart to say, no, I am educated. I have experience. I have expertise. I belong there. And Dr. Katisha, I know that you are moving yourself front and center to be at the top of your game in academia. Tell me, share with us what you're claiming for your professional move.
So I, am an administrator at heart, and this program really helped me with seeing that my purpose is to help people achieve an education and, to really allow that to change the trajectory of their lives. So for me, I am professing that my next opportunity is going to be as a strategic leader, helping impact positive outcomes for students. And so I am proclaiming that. And, the interesting thing is that opportunities are presenting themselves to do that. And so I really believe that this program helped me with believing that for myself and knowing that, the PhD wasn't the end. I had some people say, well, you already have an MBA, you don't need a PhD. And then when it was, when the PhD was done, well, why do you want to join another program? I believe that we constantly have to be learning, that you have to have a teachable spirit. And so like really this program has taught me that it is okay to want more. It's okay to want more out of life. And to do more and to be more. And, in the environment that I grew up in, you were supposed to be a blue collar worker. You were supposed to do certain things. And that was, I just knew that I was different. And, I didn't always fit in. Even with, my family and wanting to go to college and, my mom not really supporting that. I knew that there was more for me. And so this program really helped me to see that it is okay to want more, do more, be more.
Yeah. I want to say something to that because I was raised by parents who expected me to go to college. My grandparents went to college. And no matter what your race, when you're the first generation who is going to school, you don't have role models at home who show you what that looks like. So we're talking about not only a sexism issue, not only a racism issue, but also socioeconomically, how does that look for me to be a professional person in the world, exerting my knowledge, exerting my influence, exerting who I am in the world, and get paid for that? That's like a different script.
Yes.
100%.
Okay. So we're dealing with like overcoming this barrier, overcoming that barrier, overcoming a barrier of, I'm not sure what it looks like to have a doctoral degree and an MBA and be an academic leader. I mean, I know what it looks like for other people.
Yes.
But my family doesn't do that. My family didn't do that. Like, am I allowed? Is that okay? Like, so all of that is what you have to ascend to internally with believing in yourself, but also sort of like exerting that on the world. Like, yeah, I'm bringing this to the table. So like you have to assume the sale almost. Like, that's like, I bring so much credentials to the table. Of course, you're going to hire me in that top level role. Like, there's no other reality to live in. And I know with all of those obstacles, the reality to live in is, well, what if they don't let me in because of this? What if they don't let me in because of this?
Mhm.
What if they do see the color of my skin while we're interviewing and they have a problem with it? What if I'm overqualified? What if I've gotten too many credentials and I'm really leaning on that? I mean, it's all about believing that you deserve the level of role that you desire.
Mhm.
And when you got the
Absolutely.
credentials for it, and let's sort of take a page out of the white guy journal, shall we? Just for a second, just for fun.
Yes. Yes.
You don't even need all the credentials to walk in assuming the sale. Okay.
Mhm.
And part of that, I know as all women, we think that that's an arrogant way to be. And we avoid it like, nope, I'm not going to be seen as arrogant.
Mhm.
Where's the line between impeccable confidence that you're a divine, talented Black woman that deserves a high level position? Where's that confidence versus arrogance? I say be arrogant. I say walk in as if you deserve to be in that room. Walk in as if you are already invited. Walk in deserving, because you're both mid-career. You're bringing a basket of goodies here.
Mhm.
A basket of goodies. I mean, so much. And I hope that if people have been listening long enough to this interview, I hope they're hearing me loud and clear. These women and many, many more need to be taken to the next level. So organizational leaders, do it. Dr. Katisha, what other words would you have either for your previous self or for a woman who might be in the shoes you were in a couple of years ago? What words do you have for her?
I would say that you deserve more and that it is okay to ask for what you want. It is okay to seek out coaching. I'll use LeBron James because I've got basketball players.
Yeah.
LeBron James is at the top of his game. We saw recently that he,
Yes.
surpassed with
Yes.
scoring the most points. And we
Yes.
know that he pays for coaching and all these things to make sure that he is
Mhm.
at the top of his game professionally. And
Yes.
so it is okay if you want to advance your career. It is okay if you want to do more, be more. It's okay if you're different.
Mhm.
Coach Mo
Mhm.
will help you in her program with really being who you are and taking yourself to the next level and
Mhm.
really, shedding the fear. There
Yes.
was a fear for so long. Oh, well, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? And, really, I had to just accept I'm different. And that's
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
I'm a single parent. I'm in ministry. I love the Lord.
Yeah.
And I'm also an academic professional, and it's
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I would really encourage people to step out and to ask for the help, to seek it, and
Yes.
to really get the mentorship and the coaching that is available to you if you're willing to do it. That's the other thing. You stretch
Leaning
people.
in.
When I tell you
Yeah.
I was stretched like a rubber band, I was.
Stretched.
This program just took me to the next level.
Mhm.
It made me have the confidence to step out and buy another car, to step
That's
out and
right.
move into another
right.
environment, to speak
Yes.
up for myself
Yes.
in toxic relationships,
Mhm.
in a toxic workplace. And
Yes.
so I say that you're going to be stretched, but
Mhm.
it will work for the good. And
Yes.
I needed that because
Mhm.
there was no one, coming along and trying to help me get to where I was trying to go.
Yeah.
It was something that I had to make the decision for myself. So I would say to that woman, you're worth it. Go ahead, make the call, make
Yeah.
the clarity call.
Yeah.
You will never regret it. There's
Yeah.
so much more on the other side. And it's not just about you, it's about everybody you're connected to.
Oh,
My-
amen. Think about that. Oh,
yeah, my sons, as a
yes.
result of me changing, you
Yes.
know, the oldest is doing great things. He's a leader in the Marines. I can't talk about the things that he's doing as a rifleman, but I'm so proud of him. My 10th grade son is in the ASB. He's on the JV basketball team. He's practicing with varsity. He's doing great things at his high school. And my youngest son is a leader on his team. He's doing travel basketball. They have so much potential as a result of me taking a leap of faith, getting clarity on what I wanted professionally, and really doing the work.
Yes. And it's interesting because as you're expressing such joy and happiness and enthusiasm for who you've become and who you've been able to be the mother, a depleted, overworked Dr. Katisha is denying her sons their joy. That's how that goes. And you and I both know that. And maybe there was a little bit more of that going on. And I remember when you bought that car.
Yeah.
I mean, I was probably just as happy as you were. I mean, these are material things, but they're declaring a worthiness.
Yes.
And you move to a better neighborhood for your kids. I mean, this is golden. And as a woman of faith, God wants us to be in joy and to have the most beautiful experience on this planet. And when we open up our soul and we allow ourselves the divinity and the gifts and to express our gifts, I mean, boom, let's go with that, right?
Yes. Thank
so
you.
Good. Yeah. Oh, so great. Jajuana, what do you say to a few years ago version of Jajuana who was feeling like she was getting passed over for everything?
Oh, what would I say? You got this. Is what I would say. First and foremost, you've got this. There is absolutely no challenge that you cannot overcome. I would also say, know your worth. That sticks with me because there were threads of that previously, not knowing my worth in my previous marriage. So know your worth and always remember who you are. The other thing I would say is control your emotions. As I said, things were breaking me. They were shaking me. And I have high emotional intelligence, yet internally, it wasn't so high. Right. And so, and then I think the last thing I would say is never settle. What are we settling for?
Right.
I'm doing a lot of work and saying, well, I'm going to stay in this role. It's okay. And it's like, no, I want more.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting more. I mean, Katisha really just dropped the mic on everything she just said.
She did.
But she's absolutely right. There is nothing wrong with being different. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. There's nothing wrong with excelling to a level that your family doesn't recognize, your friends don't recognize, sometimes not even your colleagues recognize. And I will tell you, this program is my tribe. As someone who had a tribe, didn't know I needed another tribe, this really is my tribe. And I'm ecstatic to be here because it's people who understand what I'm going through. One of the most powerful pieces of this program, I feel like, is the group coaching, right? So there's women, for everyone who's watching, who are listening, and we have our place in line if we signed up for coaching on a particular subject or homework assignment. And there were often times when Coach Mo got down to me, I was good. I didn't need the coaching. I had heard it from somebody else, and then I got even more nuggets. And I don't know if you've noticed during this conversation, I've been taking notes. I learned something every single time I'm in a Coach Mo environment. So it is that the group coaching was instrumental in really helping me. And that's when I knew, man, this is my tribe. They understand everything I'm going through. And if we don't understand what someone's going through now, we've got notes for the future on how to overcome something, because now we have tools and strategies. And so this program has been absolutely amazing. And it's a community that is for people just like us. So I know you haven't asked me, what would I say to women about the program? I would say what Dr. Katisha said. Book a clarity call. These are people who understand you. They are willing to help you. They have solutions and strategies to help you get on the other side of whatever it is that you're going through. And they're ready. They are ready. They are armed. They are at the top of their game. Every single coach has given me something to hold on to for dear life, because they are life-changing strategies. So if you are on the fence of whether joining, let me just tell you, Dr. Keisha and I just told you stories about being the best versions of ourselves. And we owe so much of that to this program.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
You're
I'm feeling very soft in my heart about what you ladies are talking about. And I know that, you know, promoting a program, talking about it, putting social media posts out there, putting interviews out there. There's the naysayers. Of course, these women did great. Of course, you're going to put the great women on your interviews. Dr. Katisha has lost her job, and she has every single tool to frickin' navigate that shit. Okay, because she invested in herself and her soul and navigated the current job that she had at the time, and now she's got everything she needs for another bump in the road. You're going to get bumps in the road, people, and these women have had bumps in the road since we've coached. Jajuana, right?
So Dr. Katisha lost her job. I've seen all those communications and been there supporting her and getting to the next level. Yeah. I quit my dream job. I joined a company in June. I quit in December because it wasn't in alignment with my soul. And I wasn't going to allow it to break me and shake me. And so I reached out to my network. I landed another job, but I took a huge pay cut where I'm at. And I feel like I took a couple of steps back, but I did that so the next 20 years didn't look like something that I would regret. And so to your point, like, I'm working on my second dream job. Yes. But I am equipped. I'm not shaken. I'm not stressed. None of the above because of the strategies. Yes, absolutely. So I want to make sure that I put that out there, that this is not just poster child perfection. This is real women who have leaned into our process, who became better version of themselves. And now they're navigating a life and a career that has twists and turns. And when you can navigate the twists and turns, you got this. And Jajuana, you said it earlier, I feel free. Like nothing's gonna define me except me. And that to me is ultimate freedom. That's what everyone's looking for, no matter what we're going after. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for inner freedom. And bravo, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me on this interview. I don't know if you enjoyed it as much as I have, but I have totally enjoyed this interview. I've enjoyed being outspoken with you. I've enjoyed you sharing your truth. I've enjoyed knowing your journeys from day one and seeing who you are today. And I know who you're coming to be as you keep becoming the better and better next day, 1% better version of who you are, and that you're both shaping other lives, not just your children, not just your families, not just the people you work with, but every person who watches this and every person that you touch in your world is better because you have decided to be more of the divine expression of you. No matter your color of your skin, no matter the degrees you have, you are a higher version of a human being because you did the inner work. And I am just so soft-hearted and loving that for you and the world. So thanks for making the world better. Really, ladies, thank you so much. You're welcome. And every one of this conversation starts with the clarity call. It's mofall.com/talk. So there's my final little plug on that. Ladies, thank you so much. It's been so gratifying to be with you. And I am going to be pushing this message out for every woman and every leader and all the Black women who are looking for hope. So thank you very much for sharing. And we'll see you in the alumni group and otherwise as you continue to grow in your roles and in your lives. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.